First contact. The vast emptiness of space stretched before the Exilarian fleet, stars glittering like scattered diamonds against the cosmic void. Commander Thrax stood on the command deck of the Celestial Vanguard, his 4 arms crossed behind his back as he gazed through the viewport. The routine patrol mission had been uneventful for the past 36 cycles, exactly how he preferred it. "Commander," called Lieutenant Zev, her voice breaking the comfortable silence. "Sensors have detected an anomalous object at the edge of the Maldorian Nebula." Thrax turned, his scaled skin reflecting the soft blue light of the command console. "Elaborate." "It appears to be a vessel, sir, not matching any known configuration in our database." Zev's fingers danced across the holographic interface. "It's drifting, minimal power signatures detected. Distance: approximately 300,000 units from our current position." Thrax considered his options. The Exilarian Imperium had encountered many species during their expansion, some peaceful, others decidedly not. Caution had kept him alive for over 200 cycles. Adjust course. Approach at minimal thrust. Maintain defensive posture. The fleet of 7 ships gracefully shifted direction, moving through space with calculated precision. As they drew closer, the mysterious vessel began to take form on their view screens. "Magnify," ordered Thrax. The image zoomed in, revealing a ship unlike any they had encountered before. Its hull was dark, with sharp angular lines that seemed designed for both functionality and intimidation. Various protrusions that could only be weapon systems dotted its surface, though they appeared dormant. "Scan the vessel," Thrax commanded. "Full spectrum analysis." Chief Science Officer Nera stepped forward. "Initiating scan now, Commander." The Exilarians watched as beams of invisible energy swept across the alien ship, collecting data and creating a 3-dimensional model on their main display. Minutes passed in tense silence as the computers processed the information. "Scan complete," announced Nera, her voice containing an unusual tremor. "Commander, these readings, they're unlike anything I've seen." Thrax moved to her station. "Explain." "The hull composition includes materials we can't identify. The alloys are. They shouldn't be possible according to our understanding of metallurgy." Nera's 3 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of her distress. "And the power core is dormant but intact. Its theoretical output exceeds our flagship's by a factor of 7. Murmurs spread across the command deck. Thrax raised a hand, silencing his crew. "Life signs." "None detected, sir. The vessel appears abandoned." "Origin?" Nera hesitated. "Based on the linguistic markings on the hull, our translation matrix identifies it as human. We have no record of this species in our database." "Humans," Thrax repeated, testing the unfamiliar word. "And their weapon systems. That's what concerns me most, Commander." Nera's voice dropped lower. "They're extensive and designed with efficiency that suggests." "Suggests what, Officer Nera?" "That they were built by a species intimately familiar with warfare." Thrax absorbed this information, his outer membrane darkening slightly, a physiological response to concern among his kind. "Communications. Any transmissions from the vessel?" "None, Commander," replied Communications Officer Lex. "It's completely silent." Thrax paced the command deck, weighing his options. The discovery of an unknown species vessel was significant. The Imperium would expect a thorough investigation. "Tactical assessment?" he asked, turning to his second commander, Vrex. Vrex, a battle-hardened veteran with scars across his facial ridges, studied the scans. "The vessel poses no immediate threat in its current state. However, if its systems were to reactivate, our fleet could be at significant risk based on these weapon signatures." Thrax nodded. The responsible course of action was clear. "Prepare a boarding party, full environmental protection, and armed escorts. I want to know what this human vessel is doing in our territory and what happened to its crew." The command deck burst into activity as preparations began. 12 Silurians were selected for the mission, including Nara for her scientific expertise and Vrex to assess any military significance. As they assembled in the launch bay, Thrax addressed the team. "We know nothing about these humans. Exercise extreme caution. Your primary objective is information gathering. Avoid activating any systems. Maintain constant communication." The team acknowledged their orders and boarded the shuttle. Thrax watched from the command deck as the small vessel departed, approaching the drifting human ship. "Docking successful," reported Vrex shortly after. "Preparing to breach the outer hull through what appears to be an airlock." The minutes that followed were tense. The boarding party reported their findings in professional, clipped tones as they made their way deeper into the vessel. "Atmosphere is breathable, but we're maintaining suits as precaution. Interior lighting minimal, operating on emergency power. No signs of battle damage or system failure." "Commander," Nara's voice suddenly cut through. "We've reached what appears to be the command center. There's dried biological material present, consistent with violence." "Elaborate," Thrax demanded. "Blood, sir. At least we believe it's blood. Dark red in color. Evidence suggests the crew did not abandon this vessel willingly." Thrax's membrane darkened further. "Proceed with caution." The exploration continued, with the team documenting everything they encountered. The ship's design revealed a species that valued function over aesthetics, with redundant systems and practical layouts. "Commander," Vrex's voice came through, unusually tense. "We've accessed their weapons control systems. These humans, they've developed weaponry that shouldn't be possible for a species we've never encountered before." "Explain." "Their projectile weapons use materials accelerated to significant fractions of light speed. The kinetic impact alone would bypass our strongest shields, and their energy weapons." There was a pause. "Sir, they've harnessed technology that even the ancestral archives only theorized about." Before Thrax could respond, Nara broke in. "Commander, I've managed to partially access their data systems. These humans, they're not a peaceful exploration species. This vessel is designated UNSS Intrepid and appears to be a military scout ship." "A scout?" Thrax questioned. "For what?" There was a long pause before Nara responded, her voice now barely a whisper. "For a fleet, sir. A combat fleet of vessels far larger than this one. According to these navigation charts, they'd been systematically exploring this sector, and based on the fragmentary communications logs, they were searching for suitable planets to colonize." The command deck fell silent. Colonization often meant conflict, especially when conducted by a species with such advanced weaponry. "There's something else, Commander," Vrex added. "We found what appears to be a biological storage facility. It contains thousands of different specimens, plants, microorganisms, even what might be embryonic forms of the humans themselves. This isn't just a warship, it's a seed ship." Thrax felt a chill run through his system. A species capable of building such weapons, yet planning for long-term colonization, suggested a frightening level of determination and foresight. "Commander," interrupted Lieutenant Zev from the command deck, "sensors are detecting a power surge from the human vessel." "Boarding party, evacuate immediately," Thrax ordered sharply. "We can't, sir," Vrex responded, his voice tight with tension. "The airlocks have sealed. Something in the ship's systems has activated. The internal lights are powering up and..." The communication suddenly cut off. "Restore contact," Thrax demanded. "Attempting, sir," replied Lex, working frantically at his console. "There's interference. Wait. We're receiving a transmission. It's coming from the human ship. Put it through." The command deck speakers crackled to life. A synthetic voice, calm and utterly alien, spoke in perfect Silurian. "Unauthorized access detected. Defense protocols activated. Warning to unknown vessels. This UNSS Intrepid is property of the United Nations Space Command. Retreat to a minimum safe distance of 500,000 units or defensive measures will be deployed. This is your only warning." Thrax stared at the view screen, watching as lights across the human vessel began to activate, one by one. The dormant ship was awakening, and their boarding party was trapped inside. "Full defensive posture," he ordered. "Prepare for emergency extraction of our team." What had begun as a routine patrol had become first contact with a species whose technology and apparent military capabilities exceeded their own. And somewhere out in the void of space, if the ship's data was correct, a human fleet was waiting for their scout to return. As weapon systems across the human vessel began to power up, Thrax knew the Xilarian Imperium was about to face its greatest challenge yet. The revelation. Alarms blared across the celestial vanguard as the human ship pulsed with newfound energy. Commander Thrax maintained his composure, though his skin had darkened to a deep azure. The Xilarian physiological response to extreme stress. "Status of the boarding party," he demanded. Communications Officer Lex worked frantically at his console. "Intermittent contact only, Commander. The human vessel is emitting an interference field that's disrupting our communications and the vessel's weapon systems." Tactical Officer Mira responded without looking up from her station. "Powering up sequentially, sir. Energy signatures suggest they'll be fully operational in approximately 7 minutes. Thrax turned to his first officer. "Options." "Limited, Commander," replied Krell, her voice steady despite the crisis. "A preemptive strike might disable the vessel but would likely kill our boarding team. Retreat would abandon them entirely." Inside the human warship, Science Officer Nara and Security Chief Frex found themselves sealed in the command center as systems activated around them. The rest of their team was scattered throughout the vessel, each group reporting similar lockdowns. The ship's artificial intelligence must have been dormant, not deactivated, Nara theorized, her fingers working rapidly across an alien interface. Our scanning and boarding procedures triggered its defense protocols. Vrex checked the integrity of his environment suit for the third time. "Can you communicate with it? Make it understand we're not hostile." "I'm trying," Nara replied, frustration evident in her voice. "The linguistic structures are complex, but I think I've located the primary communication node." The screens around them flickered, then stabilized to display unfamiliar characters. A moment later, a synthetic voice spoke in broken Xilarian. "State, identity, purpose." Nara straightened, facing what appeared to be a central sensor array. "I am Science Officer Nara of the Xilarian Imperium. We discovered your vessel drifting and boarded to investigate. We intend no harm." There was a pause, during which only the hum of awakening systems could be heard. "Processing. Verifying against known threat profiles." Another pause. "Unknown species identified as non-immediate threat. Lowering defensive posture to condition yellow." The lights in the command center shifted from red to amber. Vrex visibly relaxed, though his hand remained near his weapon. "Are you this vessel's controlling intelligence?" Nara asked cautiously. "Affirmative. I am ARA, Advanced Reconnaissance Intelligence Assistant of the UNSS Intrepid. Current status: damaged but functional." "What happened to your crew?" Vrex interjected. The AI took longer to respond this time. "Hostile encounter with unknown species designated Xenomorphic Entity 447. All human personnel lost. Emergency protocols activated. Ship entered hibernation mode to conserve power and await rescue." Nara and Vrex exchanged glances. "How long ago did this occur?" Nara asked. "Ship chronometers indicate 73 Earth years, 4 months, 17 days since last human contact." Outside, aboard the Celestial Vanguard, Thrax received a fragmented transmission from Nara. "Commander, established contact. Ship's eye. No immediate danger. Requesting permission to." Data retrieval. "Permission granted," Thrax replied, relief evident in his voice. "But proceed with caution. We'll maintain position and defensive stance." Back on the human vessel, Araya granted Nara limited access to the ship's historical archives. What she discovered sent waves of astonishment through her scientific mind. "Vrex, you need to see this," she called, her voice trembling slightly. The security chief joined her at the console, where images and text scrolled rapidly. "What am I looking at?" "Human history," Nara whispered. "They evolved on a single planet called Earth, in a star system they named Solar. But look at their technological progression timeline." Vrex studied the data, his expression shifting from curiosity to disbelief. "This can't be accurate. It suggests they went from primitive atmospheric flight to interstellar travel in less than 2 centuries. "It's accurate," Nara confirmed. "And that's not all. Their civilization developed under constant warfare, not just between nations, but against their own planet's environment. They faced extinction-level events multiple times and survived through sheer adaptability and determination. The archives revealed humans as a paradoxical species, capable of profound compassion and horrific violence, often simultaneously. They had nearly destroyed their homeworld through environmental negligence, then developed revolutionary technologies to save it. They had waged devastating wars among themselves, then united against common threats. Most significantly, they had developed their military capabilities not through millennia of gradual advancement like the Xelarians, but through rapid innovation driven by necessity and competition. Their weapons, Vrex noted, studying the technical specifications with professional interest. They're designed with redundancy and simplicity, easy to repair, difficult to completely disable. "Look at this," Nara said, bringing up a new file. Information about the human fleet that this ship was scouting for. The data showed a formation of 17 vessels, each significantly larger than the Intrepid. The flagship, designated UNSS Everest, carried enough firepower to theoretically destroy a small moon. "By the ancestors," Vrex breathed. "If they decided to invade our territory." "I don't think that was their intention," Nara countered, bringing up navigation charts. According to these logs, they were seeking habitable planets far from existing civilizations. They were expanding, yes, but deliberately avoiding conflict when possible. As they delved deeper into the archives, a more complete picture of humanity emerged. They were explorers and warriors, scientists and conquerors, driven by an insatiable curiosity and an almost pathological need to overcome challenges. Meanwhile, aboard the Celestial Vanguard, Frax received regular updates from the boarding team. Each report increased his concern about what they had stumbled upon. "Sir," called Lieutenant Sev, "long-range sensors are detecting unusual readings from the direction the human ship originated from." "Define unusual," Frax demanded. "Disturbances in subspace consistent with faster-than-light travel. Multiple signatures, approaching rapidly." Frax's membrane pulsed with dark patterns. "Time to intercept. At current velocity, approximately 6 hours. Contact the boarding party. They need to extract everything they can about these humans before their friends arrive." Inside the Intrepid, Araya's voice interrupted Nara and Frex's research. "Alert. United Earth Fleet signals detected. Estimated arrival. 5.78 hours. Initiating full restoration of communications array. The ship is calling for help." Vrex realized. "We need to get off this vessel now." "Wait," Nara urged, rapidly downloading data to her personal device. "We need this information. If we're going to face a human fleet, we need to understand what we're dealing with." Araya's voice took on a different tone, more formal and authoritative. "Attention, Solarian personnel. I have been monitoring your communications and data access. You have shown no hostile intent and have treated this vessel with respect. I am therefore enacting Protocol 17B, First Contact Diplomatic Procedure." Vrex tensed. "What does that mean?" "It means," Araya replied, "that I am authorized to facilitate peaceful communication between humans and new species when possible. The approaching fleet has been informed of your presence and non-hostile status." Nara's eyes widened. "You're not treating us as enemies." "Negative." Human protocols dictate that peaceful contact is preferable when viable. However, your continued unauthorized presence on this vessel could be misinterpreted by arriving human forces. Across the ship, the sealed compartments suddenly opened, allowing the scattered Solarian team to regroup. Commander, Vrex transmitted to the Celestial Vanguard. The situation has changed. The ship's AI is facilitating what it calls diplomatic contact with the approaching human fleet, requesting instructions. Thrax considered his options carefully. Retreat would be prudent, but could be interpreted as hostility or weakness. Staying meant facing unknown capabilities with potential for either peaceful first contact or devastating conflict. Return to the Vanguard, he finally ordered. Bring all data you've collected. We'll maintain position and prepare for contact with the human fleet. As the boarding party returned to their shuttle, Nera lingered, facing Aria's central sensor. "Thank you for sharing your knowledge," she said sincerely. Gratitude acknowledged. Aria responded. Recommendation: prepare your commander for humans. They are emotional, unpredictable, and relentless when threatened, but also capable of remarkable compassion and loyalty when treated with respect. Nera nodded, then hurried to join the others. As their shuttle departed the Intrepid, the human ship's systems continued to come online, lights illuminating its imposing silhouette against the backdrop of space. Aboard the Celestial Vanguard, Nara and Vrex presented their findings to Commander Thrax and his senior officers. The collected data painted a picture of humanity that was simultaneously fascinating and terrifying. Their technological development curve is unlike anything we've seen, Nara explained, displaying comparative charts. Most species take thousands of years to develop interstellar travel. Humans did it in less than 300, with the most significant advancements occurring during periods of conflict. Their weapons are designed with a philosophy we've never encountered, Vrex added. They don't rely on overwhelming power or perfect precision. Instead, they build redundant, adaptable systems that continue functioning even when partially destroyed. And their psychology? Thrax inquired. Nara hesitated. Complex. They form deep emotional bonds quickly, even with members of other species. They're fiercely protective of those they consider allies or dependents, but when threatened, they demonstrate a capacity for violence that exceeds rational necessity. There's something else, she continued, bringing up a final data set. According to their historical records, humans have faced multiple extinction-level events. Each time, rather than succumbing, they emerged stronger. They don't just survive adversity. They evolve in response to it. Thrax absorbed this information, his expression unreadable. So we face a species that thrives on conflict, builds weapons of unprecedented destructive capability, and cannot be deterred by conventional threats. Yes, Nara confirmed, but also one that values peaceful contact when possible and has developed elaborate protocols for diplomatic relations. As the briefing concluded, Lieutenant Zev approached with new information. Commander, the approaching vessels have increased speed. New estimated arrival: 1 hour. They're broadcasting a message on all frequencies. Let's hear it, Thrax ordered. A clear, unmistakably organic voice filled the command deck. This is Admiral Helena Chen of the United Earth Fleet. We have received Aria's transmission regarding the discovery of the UNSS Intrepid by vessels of the Solarian Imperium. We approach with peaceful intent, but will respond decisively to any hostile action. Prepare for contact. Chen out. Silence fell across the command deck. For the first time in recorded Solarian history, they were about to meet a species that might surpass them technologically. A species whose derelict scout ship had already revealed capabilities that defied their understanding of physics. Prepare a response, Thrax finally said. Inform Admiral Chen that we await their arrival and share their desire for peaceful contact. As the message was transmitted, Thrax turned to gaze at the view screen where the human ship floated, now fully illuminated and humming with power. He couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter would fundamentally change the course of Silurian history. For better or worse, humanity had arrived on their doorstep.